People have said, especially people that understand guns, that it was almost impossible to not get hit. Had I not looked at my immigration chart, my all-time favorite chart, now for two reasons, right? It showed the great numbers that I had on immigration, illegal immigration. We stopped, all the way down here, and then it rose as soon as I left office. But that chart came down, and I looked over. And the amazing thing about the chart, I rarely use it during a speech. I just said, put out the chart. And I, boom, turned around. If I turned around just a little bit less or a little bit more, if I turned around more or less, it was still the end. So it's God. I know people that have become believers in God because of it, but I rarely use the chart. And when I do use it, it's always at the end of the speech. This was at the very beginning of the speech. And it's always on the left side, not the right side. And the only place I could have looked was there. And it was like an eighth of a second was the time period I had. And this thing went by, and it whacked me, but it was, I guess if you have to be hit. Even though I learned the ear is a bloody subject. The ear, if you get hit in the ear.
Go to church. You believe in God. Has this further your belief, your commitment, and obviously God, in addition to that chart, saved your life. He has a purpose for you. Do you think about these things?
Well, I think you believe more because when you speak to experts, like my sons who are shooting experts, but when you speak to experts, they said there was no chance that he could have missed from that distance. I think he was hurried. I think he was rushed because people were starting to say, like, there's a guy up there with a gun. And I think he was probably rushed.
This is what drives people crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Right now. Me too. It's a guy up there with a gun.
I know.
What the hell? There's a guy up there with a gun.
By the time they started saying it, it was a little bit on the late side. And luckily he was taken out quickly. But I'll tell you, if he wasn't, it would have been like in Las Vegas, that horrible attack in Las Vegas with the crazy man up in the building shooting down into the crowds. And that's what you would have had here. These crowds were bigger. And you would have had a lot of people. It was bad having three, and especially losing one. But no, I think you think like, if you believed in God, you believe in God more. And somebody said, like, why? And I'd like to think that God thinks that I'm going to straighten out our country. Our country is so sick, and it's so broken. Our country is just broken. And maybe that was the reason. I don't know. One bullet, pretty amazing, right? One bullet. And that's without knowledge. Now, obviously, somebody should have been on top of that roof. And there were some problems, but I have to tell you, Secret Service, they were on top of me, and bullets were flying over us, and there wasn't one of them that said, oh, gee, I'm not doing that. And even the people, as you know, we lost one great person, Corey, the firefighter, who was fantastic. And we had two people that we thought were going to die, and they ended up living, and they're going to be good, I hope. Perfect. We raised a lot of money for them, for the family of Corey. It was very nice. A friend of mine said, I'd like to give Corey, the firefighter, a check. I said, good. He said, would you give it? Yeah. And he handed me a check for $1 million. And so I gave it to Corey's beautiful family, wife, daughters. And he, the daughters were there, and he wanted to protect them. He got over and he got hit. He got hit hard. Pretty much instantaneously over.
Were you able to see him or not really?
No,
you were moved out.
because they were moving me, I guess, in a different direction. But he was hit hard.
Bad shape.
He was really hit hard. I think it was probably instantaneous. We had a man from the National Guard who was sitting maybe 15 seats away. He ran to Corey, and he gave him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. I mean, amazing. Some of the things that you're here, it's amazing. And at first, when you have that crowd and you're speaking it for you sort of, something hit you hard, but you don't know if you want to go down. I think that, my movement was quick because I heard people screaming, it's bullets, go down, go down, go down. So I think, pretty sure, because I couldn't have done it as easily as it looked on the tape. I must have been hearing people say that. But two of the people were hit. And had this guy not been taken out very quickly, you would have had, because it was nothing but people. There was no ground, basically. There was just nothing but people. So the bullets. In fact, when I first was starting to get up, the first thing I said is, how many people were killed? Because there was no ground. It was just wall. You've seen rallies. It was wall-to-wall people. But we then did a GoFundMe for them and raised millions of dollars. And we're very proud of that, very proud of that. So, and the two people were very thankful, and the family was very thankful. But I know for a fact they'd rather have Corey back than all those millions. But that was a rough time. The hospital was amazing. The doctors were amazing. The doctors saved two people that most people thought couldn't be saved. And these were local doctors in Pennsylvania, Butler area, and they were phenomenal doctors. They saved two people that, in theory, nobody thought could be saved. We have a lot of talent in this country.
I want to talk about something that's not talked about much. Your beautiful wife, self-made woman, professional woman, First Lady with incredible class and dignity, doesn't get the press that a Dr. Jill Biden gets, or Michelle Obama gets, or some of these other ladies get. And look at your family in this book. Beautiful children, beautiful grandchildren, and you have people, kids that come out of wealthy families, they got all kinds of problems and so forth. Yours do not. They support their father. They'll do anything for their father. They love their country, right down the line, every single one of them. The media focus on a cousin over here or a niece over there who's attacking you and so forth. Your wife, your family, they talk about the Kennedys and so forth, the Trumps. It's a remarkable family. So I'm going to ask you as a father and a grandfather, what did you do to raise children this way? And your wife, Melania, when she sees what's happening to you, that her husband was almost murdered, how do you two interact when she sees something like that?
Well, she was watching it on television, and Barron was outside having a tennis lesson. He's a good tennis player. He's outside playing tennis, and somebody ran up, Barron, your father's been shot. He went, he loves his father. He's a good kid, good student, good athlete, actually. And he ran, Mom, what's going on? She couldn't believe it. She was actually watching it live, can you imagine? And then I got up, and I let people know I was okay. Fight, but I let people know I was okay. But it was a hit. It was a big hit. And a miracle, actually. You're not a shooter, I don't think.
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, you are?
Time
well,
to time.
You would know from that distance, it's supposed to be like a sure thing. They said like sinking a 1-foot putt. Don and Eric are great, with the guns. They know so much about, and they're shooters. They're very top of the line, too. And Don called me. He said, I can't believe it. From that distance, I can't believe it. I made the right turn. If I didn't turn it that exact 100th of a second, it's like a miracle. And it got whack. But that's okay by comparison to the alternative.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.